Before America built the roads, it built Ford. At the dawn of the 20th century, a time of steam engines, horse carriages, and distant dreams, one man imagined something different. Henry Ford, a farm boy from Michigan, believed that automobiles shouldn't be toys for the rich. They should be machines for everyone. That single belief would change not only transportation, but the entire world. It was 1896, in a small wooden shed behind his Detroit home, that Henry Ford created his first vehicle, the quadricycle. A simple frame on 4 bicycle wheels with a tiny gasoline engine, it rattled, sputtered, and barely moved, but it worked. That moment wasn't just the birth of a car, it was the birth of a vision. Henry tried and failed with early companies, the Detroit Automobile Company, and later the Henry Ford Company. But he refused to give up. He wanted more than profit. He wanted a movement, a car that every American worker could afford. In 1903, with only $28,000 and a team of 11 investors, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company. His early cars, the Model A and Model C, sold modestly, but what came next would define the century. In 1908, Ford introduced the Model T, the car that built America. It was simple, reliable, and strong. Farmers used it to plow fields. Families used it to explore new frontiers. Mechanics could fix it with common tools. The Model T became more than a vehicle. It was freedom on 4 wheels. And to make it affordable, Ford did something revolutionary. In 1913, Ford introduced the world's first moving assembly line in his Highland Park factory. Each worker performed one task as the car moved past them, cutting production time from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. This single innovation changed industry forever. By 1916, more than half of all cars in America were Model Ts. The car cost only $360, and Ford even doubled workers' wages to $5 a day, ensuring they could afford the cars they built. This wasn't just manufacturing, it was mass empowerment. Henry Ford didn't invent the car, he invented the modern world. Ford's vision expanded beyond America. Factories rose in Canada, Europe, and South America, carrying the brand's blue oval emblem to the farthest corners of the globe. But success came with challenges. The Great Depression hit in 1929. Car sales collapsed. Ford's rigid management style clashed with his son Edsel Ford, a more artistic and gentle leader. Still, Ford innovated, building cars like the Model A, 1927, and later the flathead V8 engine, 1932, a masterpiece that powered generations of hot rods and police cruisers. When World War II began, Ford shifted from cars to combat. His factories produced tanks, jeeps, and B-24 bombers at an astonishing rate, nearly 1 bomber per hour at the Willow Run plant. Ford became known as the Arsenal of Democracy. The company helped power the Allied victory, turning industrial strength into a tool for freedom. After the war, Americans wanted speed, style, and color, and Ford delivered. The Thunderbird, 1955, brought luxury to the open road. Then came the Ford Mustang, 1964, an icon that captured youth, rebellion, and freedom. The Mustang wasn't just a car, it was rock and roll on wheels. Meanwhile, Ford entered the racing world with a vengeance, famously defeating Ferrari at Le Mans in 1966 with the GT40, sealing its place in motorsport history. That story would inspire generations and even Hollywood. The oil crisis of the 1970s changed everything. Gas prices soared, and Americans demanded smaller, more efficient cars. Ford responded with models like the Pinto and Escort, though not without controversy. The Pinto's fuel tank safety issues would become one of the biggest corporate scandals of the decade. Yet Ford survived, thanks to new leadership. In the 1980s, the company revived its image with successful models like the Taurus, 1986. Aerodynamic, family-friendly, and futuristic for its time. By the 1990s, Ford was no longer just an American company, it was a global force. It owned or partnered with brands like Jaguar, Land Rover, Aston Martin, and Volvo. The Explorer and F-150 trucks dominated American roads. Ford also embraced motorsport success with the Focus RS and GT revival, connecting heritage with modern performance. But challenges loomed. Competition, globalization, and the 2008 financial crisis hit hard. While General Motors and Chrysler filed for bankruptcy, Ford refused government bailout money, surviving through innovation and sheer determination. That decision preserved its independence and its pride. The 2010s marked Ford's bold step into a new era. EcoBoost engines combined performance with efficiency. The Ford GT returned as a modern supercar, winning Le Mans again in 2016, 50 years after its first victory. Meanwhile, the F-Series trucks continued their reign as America's best-selling vehicles for over 4 decades. But as the world shifted toward sustainability, Ford once again chose innovation over comfort. Today, Ford stands on the edge of another transformation, just as radical as the one Henry Ford began over a century ago. The Mustang Mach-E, an all-electric SUV, carries the legendary badge into the future. The F-150 Lightning, a fully electric pickup, redefines what a work truck can be. And Ford's investments in AI, autonomy, and EV infrastructure are rewriting the company's destiny. From the quadricycle to the Mach-E, Ford's story is not just about cars. It's about courage, vision, and reinvention.